let's just jump right into it. Today's title is Why No One Wants to Marry Black Women. The Black marriage rate is declining. It is south of 30%. And the question that many Black women have is, why don't Black men want to marry them? I would say that the Black community itself is very dysfunctional. Um, and I think that that dysfunction makes marriage almost impossible because there aren't really any principles that ground the institution of marriage in the Black community. Black culture has overridden everything in the Black community, and it's just it's a mess. As my friend says, we're at code red. But I'm going to read a Bible verse, and I'm going to let you know why Black women aren't getting married. Ephesians 5, verse 23, no, 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord, for the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Then it goes on to say, husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of the water by word, that he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. So we have two things there, and we have men operating like Christ and then women submitting to that. So a big problem is the men aren't operating Christ-like. And then the women, therefore, are out of order and out of control. And that's the main thing. But to focus on the women right now, the reason why Black women are struggling is because they don't believe in submission. Black women believe to submitting to their career, submitting to their education, submitting to a job, submitting to money, submitting to a fashion trend, submitting to weave, submitting to wigs, submitting to all this nonsense, but they don't believe in submitting to a man. And so that's Black women's major problem, is that they don't respect Black men enough to want to submit to them. Now, I'm not saying that the Black man deserves respect, but even the Black men that do deserve respect, they still don't get the respect. So I can't even say that it's that. You know, Black women are no respecter of person. They discriminate against all types of men, whether he's good or bad, because most Black women have bought into a feminist doctrine. They have that Jezebel spirit. But let's play this video.
Femininity is having money, because broke and feminine, they don't mix. People love to say that femininity is soft voices, pretty dresses, being gentle. But let's be real, it's hard to be soft when life is hard. It's hard to be feminine when you're stressed about rent, when relying on a man who can't even respect you, when you have to beg before you even do anything in this life. Survival energy by default is masculine. You're hustling, forcing, pushing, stressed. You can't flow or receive. You can't even rest. And femininity is how you actually live. It's not the matcha. It's the freedom to say no. It's the power to walk away. It's the options to choose softness instead of hardness. And money is the only thing that actually makes that possible. The most women you admire in this world, guess what they all have in common? They have money. And that's why they can sit back, receive, and move with grace. True femininity is financial power, because when you have money, you don't have to perform softness. You actually get to live it.
Now, what I find interesting is, let's say we discuss slavery. Now, they will tell you that slavery was so hard and so difficult. Have you ever heard anyone say that women that were slaves weren't feminine? Have you ever heard anybody say the women that were slaves were not feminine? Never heard it. Because that would be an easy indicator of what she's saying being true. That women that were slaves wouldn't be feminine because they were slaves. They were under duress, constant, unless we're going to say that slavery wasn't as bad as everybody says it is. But if we're talking about what she says femininity is in comparison to having money or not having money, then that means that the least feminine women should be women that are slaves. But yet no one highlights that. There aren't any books written about the unfeminine slave or the feminist slave. So again, what I hear when she's talking is submission to money. You see, a person being feminine or masculine is not dictated by the environment they live in. Because if you're going to be stressed out by not having money, you're going to be stressed out as a woman in her feminine. If you're going to be stressed out as a man, you're going to be stressed out as a man in his masculine. But those things don't get removed because you're stressed out. You just deal with them in a feminine or masculine way. What she's talking about is, I don't have to be on my best behavior if you're not taking care of the bill. That's what she's saying. She's saying that I should be allowed to engage in bad behavior if I have to go out there and make my own money. That's what she's saying. She said the women that you admire the most are women that have money. This is what she's saying. So what she's essentially saying is, unless I have money, I can't be the woman that a man needs me to be. What does that sound like? What does that sound like? Even prostitutes that give all their money to a pimp are still feminine. Most prostitutes you see are very feminine, yet all their money goes to the pimp. They don't have any money. They're not financially employed, but yet they're so feminine. Look at most of these strippers out here. Most of these strippers out here are feminine. Most strippers out here are not rich and they are feminine. So we can name a lot of careers that just strictly involve money for service, sexual service, whether it be a visual, dance, or actual sex. And these women are feminine without actually getting the money. So again, my point is that a woman being feminine does not change because she's under financial pressure. But most Black women believe this. Most Black women believe that they should have to be feminine if they have to struggle or take care of themselves, which doesn't make any sense. You can go to a trailer park where everybody's poor in the trailer park and the women are still feminine. You can go to the poorest countries in Latin America or Africa and the women are still feminine. You can go to any part in the world where they are impoverished and the women are still feminine. So again, what she's talking about is a Western ideology and a Western idea of what being a woman is, what being feminine is. And women, feminists, communists, have hijacked femininity to make women believe that the only way you can be feminine, meaning the only way you should even consider submitting to a man, is if he's taking care of everything. And you and I both know that even if she gets what she wants, she's still not going to be submissive. She's still not going to be feminine. She's not going to let this go. She's not going to let being a boss chick go. This is why Black women aren't married, because they make being feminine optional. This is why Black women aren't married. You can go around the world to think about passport bros. Passport bros literally go to the poorest countries to find a chick, and these chicks are feminine with no money. Think about passport bros going to these countries, and all the Black women say is they're just going to sleep with prostitutes or women that's easy. That may be true, but the women are still feminine. So what's your excuse if a woman living in utter squalor and desperation can be feminine, but you can't because you have some bills to pay? It's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. But that's why Black women are single. It's because they've made being feminine optional.
Him in prayer strengthens his 7 things a godly wife does without being asked. Number 1, she prays for him regularly. Covering him in prayer strengthens his spirit and anchors your marriage in God. Number 2, she speaks words of life. Her tone and words reflect respect, even when she disagrees. She builds, not breaks. Number 3, she protects her marriage with boundaries. Number 4, she listens to understand, not to win an argument. She creates space for honest conversation and emotional connection. Number 5, she supports his leadership. A godly wife doesn't compete with her husband. She helps him complete the mission that God gave him by affirming him and supporting his God-given role. Number 6, she initiates intimacy and affection. She pursues connection, not just in words, but in loving closeness. And number 7, she honors him publicly and privately. Her loyalty and tone demonstrate her honor for him, even when no one else is looking. A godly wife is a crown to her husband, not because she's perfect, but because she strives to walk in what God has called her to do.
And what she said is spot on. And I think her name is Manager Innovators. Innovators. But what she's saying requires humility. And the reason why Black women aren't married is because they aren't humble. So you have a lack of femininity, you have a lack of humility. And so what she's talking about takes you to be humble, for you to reverence the man because you love him, for you to put him in that position because you love the man and you honor and respect the man. That's why you would do that. But Black women, as she mentioned before, are in competition with Black men. And so society's telling Black women that they're actually running circles around Black men. Black women believe this. Black women believe that they are running circles around Black men, that they are better than Black men, that they are above Black men. So why would they marry? I mean, why would they submit to a man they feel like they're above? And again, this is all part of a feminist doctrine. Black women have no problem submitting to a career, education, job, money, social status, social appearance. They have no problem. What they have a problem with is submitting to a man because they've been out here longer than any other group of women. Black women have been out in these streets trying to find a man for decades, for a very long time. And so they've been jaded because I don't believe that a woman can find a good man. What she can do is sit down and be still and hear from God and put some oil in her lamp and then be found by a good man. That's what she can do. But Black women have flipped that and try to take their lamp to go find a man in the city and they run out of oil. Let's go to a brief commercial.
Strong Black woman, muscles of might, saving the day all through the night. All by herself. New Strong Black woman action.
If we take it all the way back to slavery times, women that were in the field and everything like that,
Slavery.
Were always stockier. Black women have always been different as far as our muscle mass. A lot of times, the average Black woman holds a lot of her weight in her hips.
I'm totally fine with you disagreeing or making excuses for weight or being out of shape. But what y'all not about to do is bring up slavery and act like that has some effect on today and these big ass backs. Y'all better cut it out. I ain't seen one 300, 400 pound slave. I ain't see one slave that was 250. I ain't see one slave at brunch. I ain't see one slave. They might have been at church, but they wasn't at church's chicken. They might have been surprised, but they wasn't eating Popeyes. All right, let me stop playing before y'all get too sensitive. But the excuses, it's getting out of hand. And I know it seems like we keep picking on this group of people. We picking on this group of people. If y'all weren't saying shit like that, we wouldn't be picking on y'all. We just debunking the BS and all the narratives with science. And I know y'all gonna get y'all panties in a bunch. I'm not saying that bad things don't happen today, but we got it a lot easier than slaves. Y'all gotta cut this shit out. You know I'm gonna tell the truth and you know I gotta go.
Yeah, I mean, and you heard what she said. And again, Black women don't respect Black men enough to monitor their weight. They just don't. So there's no incentive for them not to be the biggest women on the planet. It's just none. So there's no incentive because Black men are going to date them regardless. whether they're big, skinny, small, doesn't matter. Black men are still going to date them. And if not date them, at least still sleep with them. So there's no real pressure to lose the weight. They believe they're invincible. You can't tell them nothing. I'm just telling you what the problem with the black women is. They're queens, they're goddesses, so their pride is through the roof, no humility. So again, it's always everybody else's fault. It's slavery's fault, even though there's no way you can be 300 pounds in the field working all day. We know so again, it's ridiculous. And also I'm gonna say this. The reason why black women get talked about the most is because they run their mouth the most. Black women talk the most. I don't hear white women talking like this, maybe a few, but they're just acting like black women. I don't hear Hispanic women talking like this, and they do acting like black women. Like no other women around the planet talk like black women, where they say on one end they're gods and they're goddesses and they're queens. Then on the other hand, they say they're victims of white supremacy. Then on the other hand, they say they're saving America. Then on the other hand, they're saying they're running circles around black men. Then on the other hand, they're saying the best thing since sliced bread. They're like black women are all over the place with their rhetoric. And the reason why it's like that, so you can't hold them accountable. So the reason how they can be a goddess and a victim, so you can't hold them accountable. And that's the whole thing. I'll give you an example of how black women talk.
About black women, they think it is funny because when people think about black women, they think about our strength. They think about how, usually we're juggling so much and we're doing so much and we're still going to school and we're doing all the things. And part of it is unfair because at the end of the day, we are still but humans. But because
that's why y'all get talked about. That's why. Because y'all are always running your mouth talking about some nonsense. On one hand, you say, again, you're a goddess, you're a queen. And then on the other hand, you say, y'all expect too much out of us. It's ridiculous. Instead of just sitting down and being humble and being still, letting that pride go, you don't want to let it go because it's feeding your ego. We talk about the male ego, but ain't nothing like a woman's ego. We can talk about men's ego, but a woman's ego is bigger than Godzilla. It's huge. Women are constantly feeling threats to their ego. Forget with other men, with other women. A woman walks into an establishment, every woman in there starts looking her up and down. What kind of shoes she got on? Is she in shape? Is she pretty? How's her hair look? All that, how she speak, like women are in competition 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. So the woman, we talk about the male ego and the male fragile ego, ain't nothing like a woman's ego. A woman could be drop dead gorgeous, look in the mirror and only see the flaws. Ain't nothing like a woman's ego. Nothing is like a woman's ego. We have time for another commercial.
She's buff. She's doing everything alone. Strong black woman, muscles of might. Saving the day all through the night. Bold, buff, all by herself. New strong black woman action.
Now this woman right here has no arms. She got one hand and no arms. And she's pregnant. Her man in the beginning, I'm gonna play it back. Her man's rubbing her stomach. Man rubbing her stomach. Now she's not single. This woman has no arm, missing an arm and got a little hand, and still washing dishes, still domestic, had a baby in a relationship, no arms now. All she got is the hand, and that barely works. All they can do is one finger grip that bottle. Still feeding the baby, still domestic. Guess what? Being taken care of. She's not working. She's being taken care of. This woman she is handicapped. And she is in a relationship. There's no excuse, black women. But you know why? Because she's humble. She doesn't have the pride. Y'all got pride. You think you're better than everybody. You don't have to be submissive. She's submissive. It's a good woman right here. You know why? Because she was dealt a bad hand from life, and persevere. Persevere. Could you imagine her attitude being born like this and still having the type of mindset she has to have a positive attitude? She didn't give up. She know how to use her feet as like her hands. Her man rubbing her stomach so she don't get stretch marks. We'll play it again. There's no excuse, women. There's no excuse, black women. Baby can't wait to get out to be with this mom. Baby can't wait to get out to see their mom out here to get this love to mom. But look at them washing dishes with her feet. Y'all wouldn't do it. Got her baby, still looking good, still in shape. She has no arms and she is still in shape. Y'all have arms, legs, and most of y'all got arms, legs, and wings on your back. And most of them wings is lemon peppered. But y'all got all the appendages, but you still can't get married. It's no excuse. It's no excuse. And it's because you all aren't humble. Because you all don't have reverence for God. So there's no way you're going to have reverence for a man. And this is why black women are not getting married. But there is hope, black women. Most black women I know are oh so close, but they are oh so far away. It's like you're almost there to reach out and grab it, but then you're oh so far away. And most of it is just your mindset. You all's mindset is horrible because you listen to people like Jasmine Crockett, but also listen to Sexy Red. Your mind is gone. I recommend for any black woman, if you really want to be married, that you should be listening to married women, God-fearing married women that you actually respect. That's who you should be listening to. So instead of putting on ratchet songs, spend that time listening to married, godly women. Listen to what they have to say about what a wife should be and who a wife is. And then go read your word. Anyway, that concludes today's show, part 3 of why nobody wants to marry black women. Thank you.